Hello, my wonderful friends. I'm very happy to see you today, as I always am, but I also come to you with a heavy heart. You see, Nintendo has finally started to crack down on YouTube channels that primarily share their music. They upload Nintendo soundtracks en masse for all of our listening enjoyment. At the time of this recording, this situation is developing, but I will tell you what has happened so far. A channel called Brawl, BRSTM S3, probably not a name I would have chosen, but to each their own. This channel obviously hosted a whole lot of music, and it seems that pretty recently they finally started to have a lot of their songs blocked, copyright blocked. Now, YouTubers in general are very much used to copyright flagging, where a company can claim their video, the video stays up, but any ad revenue goes to the claimant instead of the person who uploaded the video. But in rare cases, if they want to be extra nasty about it, they can actually block your video. This can, in some cases, lead to a copyright strike, and of course on YouTube, 3 strikes, whether it's a community strikes or copyright strikes, and you're out. 3 strikes deletes your channel. So obviously Nintendo holds a lot of power in this case. They started blocking all of Brawl BSRTMS3's videos, and then finally it came down. The channel just, I guess it just got removed, got deleted, which is very sad, I will say. Oh, it gets even worse though. Gil the Sunner is one. I mean, both of them I've used their, you could say, services many times before. I'm more familiar with Gil the Sunner. I've been listening to his stuff for, the stuff he's uploaded for ages and ages now. It seems that he has begun the early stages of this process. A lot of his videos, soundtrack by soundtrack, they're kind of just going down. It's got to be someone manually flagging, I'm pretty sure. It doesn't sound like an automatic flagging system because it's going by, soundtracks and playlists, and they're just going down. And it's all starting to go down. And it'd be one thing if they were just getting copyright blocked or just some of the content was going down, but it's looking a lot like what happened to Brawl. This is what happened first, and then it was only a matter of time before the actual channel came down. Like I said, I've been using these guys' stuff a whole lot. I mostly just use video game music in my videos. Not technically against the rules, probably. I mean, you're supposed to use music that you've got the copyright rights to or whatever. But it's just, video game music is so good, and it really helps the tone of the video, and it's something that a lot of us just kind of do, you know what I mean? And YouTube doesn't really do much about it. So I've been doing that. And also just listening pleasure. I love Nintendo music. There's so much good Nintendo music out there, so I've been using these guys' channels for ages, particularly Gil the Sunner. Probably the vast majority of the music that you listen to on this channel, that you're listening to right this moment, probably came from these 2 channels. Their channels were a wealth, just an absolute wealth of Nintendo music from the ages, from all of Nintendo's history. Just a very wonderful collection of music. Super duper helpful. They always had what I needed. They even had extended versions so I can more easily use it in the background. So like, obviously, this is completely within Nintendo's legal right. Absolutely. Nobody's denying that. And you know what's funny is, like, this whole YouTube thing, it's debatable in many cases with copyright, because companies will claim videos and things despite the fact that technically under the law they fall under fair use. You're allowed to use pieces of gameplay and videos and whatnot as long as it's, it's fair use and you're producing something new with it. You're not just like giving it to people. YouTube itself is the one that ignores the fair use. Legally, though, those people are in the right and the companies are in the wrong for taking it down, but YouTube makes the rules, so whatever. In this case, Nintendo's way more in the right, legally. These are songs that Nintendo owns, and these are, people go to listen to the songs, they are enjoying the song. This is not something new, it is not transformative. They are like, I want to go listen to the hippie hoppy hills or whatever from Yoshi's Woolly World, and they go and they enjoy it and they consume that media. So it totally makes sense in a way what Nintendo is doing. They have every right to. Basically everyone is saying yeah, like no one's gonna argue that. But of course I will say it's disappointing. It is very disappointing that this is happening. I would say for 2 main reasons. The first reason is that, man, they just got cool about the copyright stuff. Like, they just got cool. That was a fairly recently. I think it was even earlier this year. They finally said, hey, we're going to stop claiming stuff. We're going to stop flagging stuff for copyright. We're going to let you guys do whatever you want with gameplay and cutscenes and all that. Whatever. We're not gonna try to take your money. And that was a great move. It was very progressive. It was very open-minded. It was very forward-thinking because, of course, by doing that, they make it easier for people to make content with Nintendo stuff and to monetize it and thus turn it into something of a job for themselves, thus creating more content. It's all just exposure for Nintendo. It was great. So that's why seeing this happen, like, you know, a year ago, it would have been more expected. I'm in fact surprised it took this long. Actually, I've often wondered why they've been allowed to do this stuff. But at this time, after what Nintendo's been doing, it is particularly disappointing just to see them doing that. Here's the biggest disappointment though. The biggest thing is that we've all just been enjoying this, and for the most part, this has not been hurting Nintendo at all because they don't otherwise offer all of their soundtracks for us to buy or stream. There's no streaming service. There are some games, especially like the newer ones, where you can go buy the soundtrack. That's absolutely a thing. I even remember like having Nintendo Power and I could get the Ocarina of Time soundtrack and Paper Mario and all that, but like it has not at all been every single game, not even close from what I can tell. I would go out on a limb and say the vast majority of what we see and have seen on these channels has not been available for purchase from Nintendo. That is not something that they were even monetizing, so it's like, where's the harm? Where was the harm? It was just us listening to all this music and just enjoying the legacy of Nintendo and their great music and everything. Now, it's very possible, absolutely possible, that Nintendo is doing this in preparation, like they're gearing up to launch a service, like a streaming service for their music, or just more OSTs, just, I don't know, releasing old ones to purchase or something. Like, that would certainly be cool. That would help alleviate a lot of the disappointment if, you know, a few months from now or whatever, they actually give us, hey, it's the Nintendo whatever, it's the Nintendo OST line, whatever. But I would say it would only really help if that service, whatever they offered us, gave us everything. Like, everything that we had just lost. That's the only case where I would say, oh yeah, I got it, it makes sense, and this is fine. Unless it's gonna offer everything though, unless they're gonna just all of a sudden hit Amazon with just like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of soundtracks, or, you know, Nintendo streaming service or whatever. Unless they're gonna do that, yeah. And I will say that idea is slightly doubtful, especially with Nintendo's history of trickling legacy content out at a very, very slow pace. So, I don't know. Possible, but doubtful. This is absolutely another one of those muddy, murky situations where you know the company is in the right, but at the same time, it doesn't feel like they should be in the right, even though it's just a feel, and they are. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, there's so much music, and it's so old, and I don't know if this is necessarily how it should be, but I feel this is how I feel, and probably a lot of other people too. It starts to feel like when some things get so old, they're almost not even worth selling anymore. They almost just kind of belong to the people. Do you know what I mean? It's totally not right, especially legally, and especially when you're talking about things that are decades old, and you know, they're not hundreds of years old. It's not like a piece of classical music that's been released into the public domain. Like, the people who made these games and songs and stuff, they're still around, they're still doing stuff. So it's probably not right, but it starts to feel that way, kind of like it's kind of like old NES games. I'm kind of like, man, just give them away at this point. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, they're games and you spent money on them and there's something you can monetize, but at the same time, I don't know, they're just so old. It's almost like, what's the point anymore? They almost just work better as free advertising for you. And a lot of this music starts to feel the same way, where it's been around for so long, and we've had access to it for so long, and even if you take down these channels, it's still gonna be, other channels that are less big are still gonna have it. Like, is this a fight worth fighting? Is this something that does need to be monetized or just prevented from enjoying? Which is way worse. If Nintendo's not doing this service, they just want us to not enjoy these things, then that's pretty silly. And it's also like, why now? Like, where did this come from? We have to hope it's because they're gonna do something, because why now? Why just all of a sudden they're going and maybe just a guy at Nintendo just got mad and he's just like, hey, I don't like all these channels uploading Nintendo music. I'm gonna take them all down. It's like, it's kind of like say we're all kids and we're all outside and there's rocks, dirty rocks all over the place. And we play with them. We play with them all the time. We know we probably shouldn't be playing with them, but no one's gotten mad at us yet. So we spend years and years, every time we're outside, just building towers and caves and things with the rocks, just having a great time. And then like all of a sudden, one day, the grown-ups come out and they're like, hey, stop playing with those rocks. And you're like, ah, oh, come on. Like, you knew it was coming. You know it makes sense. You probably shouldn't be playing with dirty rocks or whatever, but we've been doing it this whole time, and we're fine, and you were fine, and we were all happy and having a great time, and then you just gotta come and, you know what I'm saying? Does that make sense literally at all? I don't know if it does. It's probably a terrible analogy. So, all we can do right now is cross our fingers, knock on some wood, that Nintendo does maybe not be too aggressive about this to where it's like impossible to find this stuff on YouTube or whatever. Let's hope they do give us some kind of service. I will say if they did introduce a streaming service, I would only want it like on demand. I wouldn't want it to be like Pandora or something where you're like, oh, you're on the Mario playlist. Now we listen to Mario. I mean, like, it'd be fun in its own way, but like, I also want to be able to be like, hey, I want to listen to the title music from Thousand Year Door because it's the best game song that's ever been written and made. And, oh, but you can't though. You click on that and we'll give you songs that are like it. Like, no, I wouldn't want that. I want to be able to go listen to exactly what I want to listen to. I'd want to have all the Nintendo music, make playlists and stuff. Like, I might even pay for that. Like, that's pretty great. Those songs are really, really cool. It would be interesting if Nintendo like wrapped it up into Switch Online. You know what I mean? Like, you know, they got the NES games. It's strongly rumored that they're going to bring Super NES games in another tier. What if there was yet another tier that was just Nintendo Music, the Nintendo Music service as a part of Nintendo Switch Online? It'd be a really big waste to not like also offer the service separately. You'd like, you know, you should be able to have it on your phone, not just your Switch. But anyway, yeah, I think that'd just be interesting. They're like, we're not just doing games, we're streaming music too. I mean, they've got 100 billion songs in their whole entire library, so makes sense if they want to monetize that or something. But thank you guys for watching. Give us Sunner or Brawl. If you guys are listening, you probably won't have channels much longer, but like, do you still have the music? Like, how much would you charge me? Like, can I like send you a hard drive or something? Or you could like go buy one, like I'll pay you and just put all the music. Like, how much is that? Like, how much space does that take up? Because I kind of just want that. I kind of just want all the music you have so I can still use it for videos and stuff. So, you know, before it gets hard to download. Just a thought. Just if you're watching, just let me know. Shoot me an email. I love all you guys, and I hope you have. No, I know you're gonna have. I do not hope. I know you will have a beautiful day. I love you.